Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm running a little late, about 20 minutes late, actually. It's just so many things to do in the morning, but hello and thank you again for viewing these videos and taking upon yourself the endeavor to become vitally healthy and to grow, to grow, unfold, to become that which is. You know, you guys are the light of the world. I'm telling you, you guys are these shining lights all over the world that is needed in the despair of the human being. Because look around, the human being is in major despair, and remedies are elusive to people for some reason. Natural. You all find this pretty simple, I know, and just getting what's what and just learning the body a little bit, but the body's simple. We should have had that. If anybody's ever seen that bodies exhibit, the Chinese bodies exhibit, I tell you, they should have these in all high schools. Everybody should know their body a little bit, Don't have to know every little detail. All right, so I kind of want to get into your questions here so I can make sure I cover them. I got quite a lot of them here to catch up with. And so let me see. This is someone that did the colloidal silver. I've taken this several times because I want to continue the cellular infection. When you're dealing in microbial overgrowths, always use botanicals. Don't get into isolated elements and stuff like this, because you're definitely going to create antagonistic chemistry. You just can't bring an elemental that's a trace elemental or a micro trace elemental and bring them forward as if it was an elemental. Everything is magnetically bonded and to everybody's brothers and sisters and distant cousins, as we talked about. So you never mess with chemistry. I don't believe in that at all. It's this thing we're talking about water. Get some of these great spring waters, these mountain waters, the Alps, Avion. It's just too bad they don't use glass bottles, But, let's see, antibiotics almost killed me. They're the horrid of the universe, antibiotics, I'll tell you. And my legs badly infected and beet red. In addition to the cellulitis infections, I have venous status or like a stasis. The blood puddles around my feet and ankles. Ooh. Which adds to the problem. I have not found anything that would kill this infection when it sets in. Well, who is this? Oh yeah, Linda Raven. Honey, that's because you're treating the wrong thing. And as you learned here, of course, infection isn't microbial. They're just there in the presence of toxicity. And it is the toxicity from cells, the waste from cells, and microbial activity that is at issue here. It's kind of like the waste from fungus is uric acid. So the waste from cells are anywhere from phosphoric, carbonic, lactic. There's all kinds of acids produced in the human body that ultimately has to be eliminated. Not all acids are converted to base chemistry. That's insanity. That doesn't happen. So you have to have those kidneys filtering, and this is what your problem is. It's why it's repetitive. And the antibiotics only serve to suppress your lymph system, not to foster expectoration. And that's the problem. Medical doctors have always went after the wrong thing. They're shooting the messenger and not dealing with the problem. And this is true with aggressive bacteria as well. This is a process in nature about the dying, the death, the weaknesses. Nature doesn't put up with weaknesses and mutations and stuff. It gets rid of them. We do just the opposite. And that's the problem. Man is always running antagonistic to nature. And that's what I like about you guys. You're harmonious with nature, and that you have to be, because that's the supportive element on the planet. Your body came out of it, your food comes out of it. There's no separation of the human species to its environment and where the body came from. So go after your lymph system, get your adrenals going, and get that infection out of you. And the word infection isn't really I hate that word because it just gives the wrong impression. People think they contracted an infection of some sort. This is all about your lymph system, always has been and always will be, honey. So you really got to move out on that, get your kidneys moving, get the lymphs moving, clean the bowels up and stuff like that. And you'll be good. You'll be okay. I would also strengthen that parathyroid gland. You want all these flavonoid-rich foods anyway. That's the fruits and berries. That strengthens the vascular walls, just in case you have some capillary leakage there. But this is about kidneys and not moving kidneys well. If you're bleeding down there, I mean, that shows capillary connective tissue weakness. A lot of people mistaken lymphatic problems for blood problems. And medical doctors make that mistake a lot of times when the problem is really in the blood. And this is Butterfly to C talking to Miss Stahl about the Kangen water. Got you there. And Miss Stahl, you've done some good work on your kids there, see. I mean, you're doing really well, honey. This thing about water, don't worry about it. You know, water's water, but just be careful, honey, with the 9.5 pH. Get it down a little bit, and you'll be even better still. Just got to be careful about creating alkalosis. It's just the nature of the beast there, you know. But 8.5, I think, is a much safer level of water to deal with. I really do. But you're doing well. I know Miss C. Stahl personally. Meant to say my daughter was developing a brain tumor since, yeah, Miss Stahl's done some interesting things. We had put her little girl on raw foods. We didn't have long, and as you see here in her thing, this tumor almost popped out in their hands. We only had, I think, what was it, 3 weeks or maybe on raw before they had to go in. You know, you can't keep the medical profession away from your kids without losing your kids. So that was a decision that was made. So it was interesting how that tumor popped out. And she did an excellent job. Hard when you have kids. A lot of her friends deal with a lot of, I mean, there's just so many problems. And Pennsylvania is a place where we just see an extra amount of health problems for some reason, and especially in the children. It's unreal. So you're all doing great work. Great work. We're going to toss things around once in a while, you know, because I have my opinions and you got yours, and then these companies have theirs and stuff like that. But I'm going to always keep it real. I can tell I'm one of those kind of guys. I'm always going to keep it real for you because there's just so much propaganda and advertising, and some things have some beneficial effects initially, but long-term use, you want to go back to more natural thinking, and nature is the best barometer for that thinking. And if you're doing something outside of the way nature does it, then I feel that's not going to yield you dynamic health. That's not going to yield you. You might feel better, like supplements can make you feel better, but in the long run have, you know, there's not any curative stance here. Now, this one is, I'm 25, been for 2 years. Unfortunately, I work graveyard shift, got adrenals. You must be a nurse or something. Let's see, extremely cold hands and feet, especially at work. My belly is bloated all the time after I eat, and it looks like I'm pregnant. My food feels like it's not moving. Well, that immediately suggests you're a pancreas. It really does, and that you're getting fermentation and bloating from that, you know. I mean, the other kind of bloating is going to be interstitial, lymphatic, constipation. That's the worst kind of bloating, to tell you the truth, because that's the lymph system, and it isn't easy to get the lymph system moving in the GI tract wall. And you could have some of that, but this is definitely suggestive here of either a liver or a pancreatic problem. So I would use the herbs appropriately for that, formulas for the pancreas, formulas for the liver, and see how you get with that. Watch your food combinations, chew real good. You know, and just sometimes when the pancreas isn't breaking down your carbohydrates, you have to fix it and super chew for a while, so you're breaking them down here because you want the goodies from them. Thyroid for sure, you know, so you want to pop that up there and work. You can work with granulars or you can work with the liquids. I don't recommend isolated iodine. Another problem here, hyperthyroidism from the use of these isolates. Inorganic iodine, very toxic. Go to kelp. Go to something like that. Foods rich in iodine. I'll show you a book here you can get. We carry it out there, but it's facts and let's see, facts about composition, facts, and I have to get the name of it, but it really, it was done by Ford years ago, and got a great book. You know, it shows you all the percentages of all the nutrients in all the foods, and it's got your carbohydrate, protein, fat, metabolism there, helps you out. Facts, let's see, composition of about foods, facts. I don't have to look it up, but a good book, you know, by Heritage Ford, I think it is, or something. I have to look it up. Let's see, my acne has semi-cleared up, so you know immediately you're having lymphatic problems here. I barely sweat. Okay, there's the thyroid again. Thyroid controls your ability to sweat. So when you have low thyroid, you can't sweat well. Body temperature is also determined by the thyroid gland. Obviously, it's why we check your basal temperatures under your arm to see what your thyroid is doing. You just stick a thermometer under your arm before you get out of bed in the morning and take a look at it. Basal temperature should run about 97. I'll take 97.5 in today's world, but actually 97.8 to 98, 1 or 2. But somewhere in that range. If you're down in the low 97s, you're a little hypo, and if you're in the 96s, you're chronic hypothyroidism. Especially the closer to 95 you get, that can be some serious thyroid problems there. But it shows you that your lymph is really not moving here. My doctor wants to do a thyroid test, blah, 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 blah. And I should experiment with my diet and get more protein and salt. Whew. Man, these guys need a lesson in nutrition. I've started to eat grapes for breakfast every morning, and my skin on my face is reacting by having small, tiny clot. Yeah, absolutely. Since your kidneys aren't filtering properly, your skin is going to make up for it, remember? So, honey, you're going to feel that a little bit. I would like to put on I'd like to be put on a regimen or herbal protocol you recommend. Okay. Well, what do you think, guys? You're going to do the kidneys. You're going to do. I do 2 kidneys, and initially I have a kit made up to kill parasites, to get in the kidneys, get the lymph, get the liver, and kind of just get things really moving for 2 weeks. That's why that kit, I just recommend that. That way you deworm yourself. You really start to get things moving. From there, I recommend 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas, 1 a capsule. Of course, always the stomach and bowel, and then always the adrenal or endocrine gland for getting into the endocrine glands. Outside of that, you can do Parasite M to keep the fungus down for another month or 2, and you might even see worms. If you see worms, you keep going after worms until you don't see them, and then I would recycle through that to grab the eggs. 132, nice. Thank you all for your comments, you guys. Doing very well. We've got a good family channel here. Everybody's doing well. Sometimes we get a little over. Sometimes I go rattling on. So, I appreciate all your efforts, and all you guys are standing up and articulating and developing your techniques. And I love it. You guys are great healers, man. Someone asked me about dysautonomia. That was Kelly. You're really right into 2 things, Kelly. You're right into the autonomic, no question about it. That's the adrenal glands. The autonomic is sympathetic, parasympathetic, basically, where you have part of that hooked to the brain. So you have CNS and autonomic coming together, and you have the autonomic